Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, June 11th, 2015. Ra in the Lynn-Body-Mind, Asha in the Jamie-Body-Mind. Paul and many other teammates in subatomic levels smaller than Earth and its environs.
That's true.
We have, within the past 24 hours, broken into the next physical dimension up above the one in which we were previously working. From Earth and its environs, the next step up, as best we can tell, is galaxy wallop and its environs.
That's true.
From that level, as best we can tell, the next step up is planet Baobab and its environs.
That's true.
From that level, as best we can tell, the next step up is this planet that we are currently beginning to discover the lay of the land upon. So our belief is that our assignment for the videoed portion of this session is to continue that exploration and learn what we can learn about this next larger level. But we could be entirely wrong, and we aren't going to steer the session in that direction. As always, our intention is to do whatever is ours to do in all dimensions right now to trigger the awakening right now. And with that, it begins. I feel like I'm that very large man,
It's true.
the industrialist who has the feel of living in New York City in the late 1930s, perhaps,
That's
early
true,
1940s,
1940s.
perhaps, right around 1940.
That's true.
Around the time that we're becoming aware of him. And this large man humanoid presence, inside of him is the all that is of which planet Baobab is a part.
That's true.
He is the all that is of which planet Baobab is a part.
That's true.
And that all that is planet Baobab contains the all that is of which galaxy wallop is a part.
That's true.
And I guess the Garth nebula inside
inside of the
galaxy wallop
Baobab, inside
and
of
its
galaxy
environs
wallop
contains the all that is of which Earth and its environs are a part.
That's true.
And some aspect of Earth and its environs contains the all that is of which that level where Fritz and his machines were working are a part.
That's true.
And some aspect of that contains the all that is of which that level where the children are trapped in the coal mine, so to speak, are a part. And the level beneath that is contained inside of there. The level beneath that looks like horribly deformed people, as if they've been raised on love canal for generation upon
That's
generation
true.
upon generation. So birth defect piles upon birth defect until
That's true.
these are barely recognizable as humanoid.
People.
Yes.
That's true.
And then underneath that is a layer that's even worse, and underneath that is a layer that's
It's
even worse.
That's
Less
true.
and less and less higher dimension support.
It's true.
Less and less divine support. Everyone only living on that which they themselves can create, and it all devolving horribly into a mass of such deep suffering that we just don't seem to be able to resolve it, which is of course why we have the euthanasia prayer on the table.
That's true.
This is too broken, too horribly gone awry to heal.
That's
We
true.
do not seem to be able to heal it, at least not from within the contaminated zones.
Right, that's true.
Which is why we're continually reaching larger and higher in an effort to get outside of the contamination so that we can find someone who can either crack the egg open, get divine breath in there, stop the suffering,
That's true.
create the miracles, or if that can't be done, at least end the suffering, give us all a fresh start, all of
That's
us all at
true.
once, fresh start, up and out, try again someplace else.
That's true.
And again, I feel like I'm this man,
That's true.
and I feel as though I'm an industrialist. It's how I define myself, an
That's true.
industrialist, and I have a manufacturing concern is how I think of it, and
That's
my
true.
manufacturing concern seems to be based in the in the States, or that which feels like the States. It
Feels
might-
like New Jersey.
Yeah, it does feel like New Jersey,
Yeah.
actually. And that I do business in Germany.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what my business is. Maybe I have suppliers in Germany. It
That's
feels kind
possible.
of like suppliers. And I go over there perhaps every 6 months on business, and I have for a long time.
That's true.
Gone over there perhaps every 6 months on business since after the Great War is how it
Yeah,
feels.
that's true.
I wasn't around, or I wasn't in this capacity before then.
No.
But since after the Great War, since shortly after,
Yeah.
actually.
Things weren't really all that settled the first time I went over.
No, it was definitely still coming together the
That's
first
true.
several times, and I kind of take pride in it. I seem to have some kind of German heritage, and maybe Germanic Jewish heritage.
Yeah, that's true.
And I take pride in watching Germany
Rebuild is how I think of it.
That's right,
That's
the
true.
fatherland coming together again.
Yeah,
You know, you
good
go.
for you.
Deutschland über alles.
Yeah.
And then watching things, something starting to
taking a
feel
weird turn.
taking a weird turn, and maybe
That's
because
true.
of a Jewish heritage, I
Right.
notice what others wouldn't notice. It's very
Right.
possible, and maybe because I'm only there every 6 months or so, I notice
Right,
things
the
that
changes.
others wouldn't notice.
That's true.
The frog in the pot doesn't notice the water getting hot,
That's true.
but a frog jumping in and out of the pot every 6 months can feel the difference.
That's true.
And now this last couple of times I've been over there, it's clearly gone over some kind of line, and it's no longer just vaguely creepy. It's flat out frightening, and
That's
it's clear
true.
that something has gone terribly wrong
That's true.
in Germany, and I have come to the point that I can't sleep at night or look myself in the eye in a mirror if I don't start to
Do something about it. That's true.
And so I have begun a campaign to get our nation's government to do something.
That's true.
I was so naive. At first I thought, oh, clearly,
Right.
since I live in the United States of America, our government just doesn't know about this, so I just need to let
Right.
them in on the secret,
Right.
and they'll say, oh
my
golly
goodness.
gosh.
And
How
they'll
could we have
send
absorbed this?
over some tanks.
And it will be solved.
Right.
But that isn't what has occurred at all.
No.
I have come up against a broad spectrum of reactions.
That's
They
true.
can be considered a broad spectrum as long as we understand that the spectrum is contained within this. Total denial
That's
to,
true.
even if it were true, it would not be our concern.
That's true. I'm seeing like a montage, office after office after office after office, where I leave the office after the meeting and it's like shock, complete shock.
And I'm looking over what I did, and I think, what in the world did I do
wrong.
I must have
Yeah.
explained it poorly, and I start to pull out all my materials, and I'm a successful, smart, really smart
Yeah.
guy. This guy is smart.
That's true.
And I
And
look at
in
his,
kind of an American dream way of I built this life with my own two hands kind
that's
of feeling.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Self-made man.
Self-made
quote, unquote.
man.
And in some kind of, I don't know, there's enough engineering or technical knowledge involved
Yeah.
that, my thinking is very linear. And
That's
I
true.
look at all the materials that I've been presenting, and at first I can see, oh, well, clearly I've explained it poorly.
Poorly.
I've started in the wrong place. And
Let
so
me
I'm-
reorganize it.
Yes, shuffle
That's
again,
true.
and it's not all that different from making a pitch to another business with whom I wish to do business.
Right, that's true.
And so I got this. Okay, I did a bad presentation. At first, that's my attitude of, wow, clearly I did a bad presentation.
That's true.
Going back to the office, working it over, trying again. Boom! Another bad reaction.
Okay.
Making it better, boom, boom, making it better, boom, boom, making it better, boom. Now it's really hard to make it better.
That's true.
What now?
But no.
Starting to get ulcers and headaches, starting to
true.
eat at me, and I don't want to do business with those people in Germany anymore, but I also
No.
don't want to
Lose the
not know what's going on. I
Right.
need to know what's going on. How will I do this, and now I start to feel unsafe myself going
That
to
is
Germany. I don't know
true.
if that's really a good idea. And so I talked to Raoul or whoever is my, the next person in my company
Right.
who I would trust to go, kind of trust, not really,
Right.
but I'm not going to go over there. It's now
No.
foolhardy to go over there. I'm not going
Right.
to do that.
No.
And he's not in danger.
No.
And so to send him, to ask him also to find out what's going on.
That's true.
Conduct the business, of course, and also find out what's
going on.
Take pictures, do what you can
Yeah,
do. And
that's true.
now it's becoming dangerous. He's coming back and saying,
I
I
don't
can't
wanna
take
go over
pictures
there."
of
Yeah.
that. I can't do that. It's like, wow. Somebody's tapping on my head saying, what do I notice? Well, I notice a lot of things. I notice that this gentleman is living in a world that's wanting to deny reality.
That's true.
Which is similar to Planet Crazy and many of the other planets that we have become aware of.
That's true.
Which I guess makes sense when we get up to this level and see, aha, well, the environment, the ambient energy is one of denial.
Right. That's
So
true.
that makes sense. And what else do I notice? I noticed that when I was becoming aware of this guy and I was becoming aware of his energy body, I thought, how does anybody get anything done with an energy body like that?
That's true.
His energy is short and squatty, and it's completely channels out or channels into his own head.
That's true.
Those seem to be the two settings for his channels. They're out and interwoven into the horizontal channels of everyone else, just
That's
like here on
true.
Planet Crazy, just like here in every planet and every physical dimension that we've passed through.
That's true.
Both smaller than Planet Crazy and larger up to and including this level. Again, not a surprise.
That's true.
And as a result, it feels like this guy is walking around with a concrete floor on top
That's
of his
true.
head. He is not open to divine guidance, not at all.
That's true.
So what would I do if I were the teacher of such a student? I would strongly suggest that he meditate, develop a really good and established meditation practice.
That's true.
Insight meditation, Vipassana meditation,
That's
mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques. All of those different levels for the same thing.
That's true.
What now? How may we be of service right now to trigger the awakening right now? So we see what we have been doing is running these kind of sharp cutting screens
That's
upward
true.
through our own energy bodies and the energy bodies of the team that is working with us and the energy bodies of all the dimensions through which we intersect, just to cut off the channels that are going out. That isn't actually helpful. It's
That's
actually
true.
making things worse, not better.
That's
Just
true.
to cut them off like a haircut. Zing. And now the hair can grow back, and
That's true.
hair, so to speak, the channels can grow back, and they can grow back going up or out, and we can cut again, just as
That's
we
true.
cut hair. Zing, buzz cut the channels
That's true.
over and over again, so that the ones that are growing up don't have so much competition for sunlight, so to speak.
That's true.
We can just run these sharp cutter templates up over and over again, and I'm using the ISIS template, which I certainly didn't design, which wiser minds above designed,
That's true.
and they said anything beneath that is unacceptable,
That's true.
which was not good news for me, but has turned out to be a very useful benchmark, one much harsher than I myself would have applied, much harsher.
That's
But
true.
that's okay. If this is the rule, this is the rule. I can live by the rule, and I can enforce the rule.
That's true.
And doing this inside of these physical dimensions will help, but what actually is the point is to get non-physical help into not only that dimension, but into the subatomic levels
That's true.
to it. And so now we begin to live stream up our message to the non-physical levels. We start by clearing air bubbles. just clearing air bubbles from as deep beneath us as we're able to access, and they're coming up from those really deep layers now.
True.
I can see them and I can feel what it's like, and it's horrifying.
It's true.
It's really horrifying.
It's true.
And so it's so compressed. It's like sedimentary rock, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer has piled on it until it actually calcifies into stone.
That's true.
In a suffering that's too horrible to think about, and yet is real.
That's true.
Wow. So we start with that, releasing air bubbles from way down below and having them bubble right on up through us and out into the non-physical, and then we say, this is not a dream.
Not a dream.
This is not a
This is
dream.
not a
This is
dream.
not a dream.
This is not
More
a dream.
air is bubbling up. This is coming live to you from the subatomic levels of the physical dimension. More air bubbles coming
That's
up.
true.
Playing now reel after reel of the kind of like newsreel footage that has been taken of these varying levels of the horror and the suffering that's being experienced right now when we're saying this is happening on our watch.
That's true.
I didn't want to acknowledge it. You probably don't either, but it
That's
is
true.
true. It's happening on our watch. And the law of cause and effect is real. And I
It's
begin
true.
to pull space-time in that way that starts to activate the law
That's
of
true.
cause and effect so that people can feel it tugging on them.
That's true.
And they're doing it gently, but it's enough that they can
You
feel
it. That's true.
And the law of cause and effect is real. And a decree has come down to all of us
It's true.
to lead, follow, or get out of the way in an effort to rescue those who are suffering in these deep subatomic levels.
That's true.
And now we send up the prayer. And if you find that it's impossible to stop the suffering, then at least to grant the euthanasia prayer, and in that way to stop the suffering.
That's true.
This prayer comes from these deeply suffering subatomic layers.
That's true.
Stop the suffering one way or another. Either provide the divine support that these poor beings have been doing without for what seems like an eternity to them,
That's true.
or stop the suffering and give everyone a fresh start. And I do, again, have the sense of many hands trying
Pressing
to press
buttons.
buttons.
That's true.
But nothing happening, which means we're still inside the contaminated zone.
That's true.
So friends, that doesn't bode well for you, but what you can
That's
do
true.
is build up a big mountain of grace by taking action.
That's
Lead,
true.
follow, or get out of the way. And now we begin the work, activating the law of attraction and repulsion.
That's true.
Those who intend to join in on the rescue mission
That's true.
are brought to the center. Those who do not intend to join in on the rescue mission, they don't intend to either lead or follow,
That's true.
are flung aside. Get out of the way. Lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Okay, that's
Activating the
true.
law of attraction and repulsion. And inside here we have random testing at least 5 times a day
That's
for
true.
attitude and alignment.
That's
Those
true.
are our responsibilities. Keeping our attitude good is our responsibility.
That's true.
Keeping our alignment strong is our responsibility. No one can do our self-care for us but us.
That's true.
And we must be doing that in order to do the work. That
That's
is
true.
not the work, that is prerequisite to the work.
That's true.
The work is to rescue the children in the coal mine,
That's true.
so to speak. Suffering souls
That's
trapped
true.
in a physical dimension without non-physical support. Too horrible to believe, but true.
That's true.
Burning and
Ooh.
burning. And I can see this man, and he feels this burning sensation, and he doesn't know what's going on.
That's true.
He is idly wondering whether or not he's dying.
Yeah, that's true. Not with panic.
No.
Just, I wonder if I'm dying.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
He's curious. What is this strange burning sensation?
It's
I
true.
wonder if I'm dying. And he maybe thinks he has a brain tumor because of the headaches and the
Yeah.
burning sensation. Well, It's a good sign that he can feel it. Burning
true.
more, transforming. You know what I notice?
Yeah.
On each of these layers of physicality,
Yeah.
there seems to be a planet that is like Earth.
That's
or
true.
that Earth is similar
to. That's true.
I don't know about the smaller levels because I haven't become as familiar with them, but the larger levels, it's certainly true.
That's true.
Not all at the same point in time,
That's true.
but all of them have similarities to Earth.
That's true.
And these subatomic ones, it's the same.
That's true.
Some of them feel much older,
Yes.
but it's Earth,
That's true.
and now we're done.